Hello, welcome you beautiful seeker you. In this tarot, psychic, and channeling reading, we are focusing on subjects of past lives, galactic heritage or your cosmic roots, and spiritual growth, and of course spiritual awareness. So that is the focus point of this reading. As you see here, we have 3 different piles. So we have pile 1 here with the sage, and pile 2 here with the bay leaf, and pile 3 here with the Palo Santo wood. Okay, so just take a deep breath, 2 or 3, and just let your intuition speak to you. Let whatever pile it is resonate with you and speak to you. And if you just want to randomly pick a pile, that's fine too. If you don't feel like you are connecting that much with your intuition. So just whatever pile you feel guided to. The timestamps will be below in the descriptions box and probably in the comments as well. And some other important information, of course, in the descriptions there. And yes, without further ado, let's get to the readings. All right, pile 1, you selected the sage here. So let's go ahead and get the cards out. We're just going to dive right in. I'm going to start with an oracle message, and then a message from the Galactic Heritage deck, and then we'll get into the tarot cards, okay? So your first message with oracle is, in the flow, everything is smooth sailing. Gorgeous. So just remember, whenever you fall into fear, that you are actually where you need to be. You are actually on track. You are on your path. So whenever you doubt yourself, whenever you feel like you're not, or you're not going anywhere, there's no progress being made, be affirmed here that everything is actually flowing. You're in the right, frame of mind. You're in the right space, okay? You're in the flow. All right. So, whoop, a little dusty here. Fascinating. We have the Pleiades coming through for you. And it says balanced relationships. And it is set in the future here, though. Okay. So before I speak to that anymore, I'm going to go ahead and lay out your tarot cards. Okay. So yeah, the Pleiades are coming through for you. So you who are watching here, you clearly have a strong connection to the Pleiades. And there's a lot of us here on Earth who do. We have, that Pleiadian DNA. We do. They're a part of Earth's seeding, of the genetic tinkering, we'll just call it. So you, though, are being beckoned by the Pleiades. So if you felt a connection, harness that, seek it out now, affirm it. And if you've been wondering, where do you start with your galactic heritage? Here you go. The Pleiades is a good starting point. Now, they're coming through with this message of balanced relationships. With it being set in the future, I'm getting basically a timeline with them and a timeline with you. The timeline with them is that they are a Pleiadian race or faction that is in a future density from ours. They're in a higher density. Okay, so where Earth is mostly sitting at right now is a fourth density. And so they're sitting more closer to sixth density, that. So you see what I'm saying? They just kind of want to let you know, they're very, very spiritual beings, very advanced with their consciousness. But yeah, balanced relationships is the message that they're bringing up for you. And then you have the Ten of Cups here. Okay, definitely all about relationships. And underneath it, you have, interesting, the Eight of Cups, and it is reversed here. So, something about balancing out the relationship of self and the relationship to others, including people in your life, excluding people. Engaging with society, being a hermit. That whole dynamic is coming up for you, and it's needing balanced, and even looking at the Five of Cups over here, the loss that's going on, the kind of depression and sadness. And then you have here in this tarot deck, it includes a few extra cards. And this is kind of like the thief in the night. Are the words that are coming through for you here. The thief in the night, stealing, getting in the way of these balanced relationships, of you forming and creating more balanced relationships, wholesome relationships that last here. And for you specifically, it's about a lot of people right now on Earth, all of us in the human race, are really having to work on polarity and healing that, polarity narrative. If you watch my other videos, you've heard me get more into depth about that. But for you, your focus with polarity and healing that so you can progress and grow even further in your life starts and is focused right now on relationships and intimacy with others. There's this fear of something being taken or someone being taken, of love being taken from you, that is getting in the way and that is causing a blockage. And so I feel like there's this message here saying, connect with that fear. Connect with that fear in a very conscious, intentional way. And just by simply doing that, it's going to help rebalance you or refocus you, give you that clarity that you need so you can get to this point of better balancing and harmonizing your intimate relationships. And it's not even that challenging, going back to this message of in the flow. And then we have this rainbow. I'm just kind of like seeing the sled here, like riding the rainbow sort of road or wave. And so it's like this blockage is, once it's just addressed and healed, you just give it attention, basically. Give it attention. And you're in the flow. You're smooth sailing. It doesn't really require an abnormal amount of effort. So that's nice. That's beautiful. So, I am, honing in here on the Eight of Cups. I'm just getting this, it's time for those of you watching who maybe have been too much of a hermit, you've withdrawn from society, you've withdrawn from making those intimate connections because of this fear and this theft or, fixation of loss, that you might lose something. It's time to break out of that mode and that perception. And part of what is sort of keeping you there is the fact that you're perhaps maybe a little overly detached, so again, it's for those of you who, if I'm speaking to you, if you are overly detached, it's time, especially with this in reverse, to get out there again, to engage with others in society, to connect with people and to other. There's been, I feel like, this time and focus on relationship to yourself, or that opportunity has been there, and it's about, it's transition time basically now. And the Pleiades are saying, part of that balancing relationship out, relationship to self, relationship with others, internal, external, balancing that out, and that attachment versus detachment, it's going to elevate you. And relationships, of course, are so good about mirroring ourselves, mirroring our behavior and ourselves back to us. So like for your own self-growth, and further self-awareness, connecting with others is also good for you in, like I said, in that manner. And so, I see it just being the most beautiful thing for you. And even here with the Three of Pentacles, it's such a focus on relationship and community. Specifically here with this card, I'm getting, community. And allowing yourself to be free enough. You can be free enough. The Pleiades, the universe wants you to know that you can be free enough to show off yourself, but to also show off your skills, show off your art, show off your expression. Like, it is time, and it is okay for you to express yourself and show yourself off. And by showing yourself off, it will attract others to you. Or showing your work off, showing your creativity, your project off, whatever it is. Two of Wands. This gives you a brand new, wide, eagle's eye perspective and vision. And a vision and perspective that's been lost to you before this progression. So that's kind of like, you could say, the end result is what I'm getting with this. Being able to see the bigger picture and how all the dots connect. And again, look at how the balance aspect is coming back up with the two, with the wands and balanced relationships over here with the Pleiades, what they're saying, beginning, ending here, beautiful. And I feel like specifically the Two of Wands is really talking about your sense of self. Your self is balanced, comes more fully into balance here by integrating more, with others, by interacting more and playing more and being around others more. And something really concrete can be built here. Like that window of opportunity, especially with relationships, with intimacy, can be built here. Now, as far as connecting with the Pleiades energy specifically, if you're wondering how to better connect with them, make a stronger connection, first of all, the message is really just be confident. Be confident and secure with your decision to connect to your star family, to those cosmic past life roots. And be willing to look in dark places, that scare you, that you might be afraid of, seeing maybe past lives and what you did in past lives, still observing it, even if it's ugly. And that helps you in your present here too. And I am getting something like making a gesture or sort of offering, for lack of better words, but gesture or offering. Just to, invoke more of that confidence with making that connection to the Pleiadians. But that helping you and making a stronger connection for you to where you really can receive those messages for yourself clearer. Sorry, pausing, just seeing if anything else wants to come through for you guys. Something about underworld knowledge, definitely something about seeking knowledge or information around the topic and subject of underworld. The underworld will somehow take you down the rabbit hole that you need to go down to make more of those past life connections and galactic connections. And balancing out these relationships, there's something about it going, you're having to sort of deal with this again right now because it has been connected to a past life relationship, an intimate relationship that fell into imbalance. And so those sort of karmic lessons have carried over. And that's why that's your focus right now. I'm sensing too the new moon, a darker moon, so waning, but yeah, also very much around the time of the new moon. That can be a very helpful time for you with this. Okay, I think that is all that is coming through here for you. Beautiful. I love the messages and the progression here, and this yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room for growth, yet it doesn't even require that much effort or anything that's strenuous. You know, just remember, you're in the flow. Everything is smooth sailing. It's just about tweaking. You see how these cups are slightly off balance from the rainbow? You know, just a little tweaking. And I love that the Pleiades showed up for you. There you have it. Much love to you. All right, pile 2. Yeah, pile 2. You selected the bay leaf, which we have burned here and transmuted. Smells so good. Anyways, here we go. I'm going to start with your oracle message, and then we'll get into the Galactic Heritage card and then the tarot and see what messages come through with that. So, uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. Love it. Gorgeous dragon. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, I guess I do know why. It's the shape and everything, but I'm really strongly getting that image of the 8, the infinity sign, really for you guys. So that's just something else that's standing out for you. Just a symbol and sign to kind of watch out for. But uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. So this is reminding you guys that there is so much beauty and knowledge, wisdom to be found, to be learned in those darker spaces, in those challenges, in those dark phases of life, in the dark parts of you. And just also speaking subconsciously, unconsciously, what you hold on to, what you think and how you feel, and just the power of your subconscious. There is much beauty, bounty, information to be had there, to be sought after there. And I'm seeing this too as uncovering truth, not just uncovering treasure, but uncovering truth for you. But getting into those practices that put you in this sort of space, so like meditation, tarot reading even, sure, psychic reading, but meditation, grounding, maybe even using a plant medicine, even if it's just like cannabis, to facilitate this and to go within. There's that sort of encouragement there for you, and to really allow yourself to appreciate the unseen or the subconscious and the unconscious and those darker phases of life and whatnot. See those as just as valuable. It is, those spaces are just as valuable. Okay, your Galactic Heritage card. You don't have a specific star system coming through for you right now, but you have Association of Worlds, Parallel. Wow. And this says community, which kind of relates a little bit to pile 1, to the Sage pile. So I don't know, some of you might want to check that out. It's interesting to see this come up, especially just knowing we're in the age of Aquarius and 4th density, heart chakra space, where community is will become a much bigger thing. Different, but bigger. We'll be a lot more connected, integrated as a people, as one. It's funny. I mean, we've seen that just with the progression with the internet and everything, right? So before I get too much more into this, I'm going to go ahead and lay out your tarot cards. Ooh, a lot of reversals. Okay. Interesting. Interesting too how we have the 10 of Cups here, which is in reverse for you guys. We have the 10 of Cups. There's a very similar message, an underlying theme here that relates to pile 1, the Sage pile. So just saying. There's a duality here going on for you. Could be this feeling with a lot of you that you're living in parallel universes, right? Parallel here. Association of worlds. I feel like there's this message of something about merging two different worlds. This could apply to your waking life, and relationships here on Earth in the present, where you might be merging, different families coming together and merging families. There could be sort of that going on, but this does feel a little deeper too, with like your past lives and your cosmic roots, your galactic lineage. Like you're in an interesting place right now where you can almost like walk in between worlds if you just allow yourself to, is what I'm getting. Something here with the 8 of Wands, even reversed, about taking a leap. Leaping into that unknown space. That other reality. That parallel universe, so to speak. All you have to do is leap and boom. So there's definitely, of course, with this, a unifying factor. Something about unifying and balancing the communities, the relationships within your life. And again, it's a very similar message to pile 1, where balancing the self and then others, service to self, and then something about service to others. And that's a little bit more specific to you, I feel like. King of Swords. Because of the interaction with this, with the King of Swords reversed and the 8 of Wands reversed, I'm getting that maybe the next time the moon is in, this could have been around the full moon in Aquarius for some of you, but this could also be, I feel like, speaking of the next time the moon enters an air sign, so Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, is when the veil is a little bit thinner for you at this time. Something about that specifically, saying it could be a little thinner around that time. And that's whenever these downloads and uncovering this sort of treasure trove of knowledge and wisdom and inner awareness is really revealed to you. It really bubbles up. And again, very focused on intimacy and what your vision of long-term is. Something about establishing and making a decision about your ideas of long-term, especially in intimate relationships. There's some toxic relationships with Cernonos or the Devil card in reverse here. Toxic relationships that have to be let go, that have to be purged, that have to be shed. in order to make room for the other relationships in more aligned and balanced relationships for you now. You have to allow for the shedding as well, of course. There's always that give and take and give, right? That's part of that duality and polarity, and there has to be that ebb and flow for balance in general in the universe. You also have the Death card, and the Death card in reverse here. And, a lot of this makes me feel like this energy is recent for a lot of you watching. Maybe not all of you, but it makes me feel like it's pretty recent or happening now. And definitely your psychic connection is sharp right now. It's sharp, this, and even with death, and beneath the surface, it just... The death of something, someone, of who you've projected yourself as within your community, that's coming up. Something about how you've projected yourself and expressed yourself within your community, your role in your community, that shifting now, that dying now, releasing that image, that role, shedding that. And, this can be literal for some of you, like representing an actual death, in your family, death just in your life, of a friend, whatever, of a pet even. But, it's definitely speaking of that shedding and transformation. In order to really maintain this connection with this other world that some of you are connecting with, going to connect with, trying to connect clearer to, you have to have this ebb and flow, right? Like we talked about. King of Wands and two kings sitting on top of each other as well. Interesting. A lot of you involved with a male figure, maybe involved with a male. And listen to the lessons that relationship is trying to teach you. Something about limitless potential I'm getting with these kings, King of Swords, King of Wands. They're trying to tell you something about limitless potential. You know what? I'm getting really strongly that these older male figures here are from this other, like, parallel universe, parallel world you're connecting to, and maybe it was somehow associated with a past life or being someone from the past. Now is as good a time as any for you to build your relationship with your past selves, your future selves, your cosmic connections, your galactic lineage. The veil is thin around you right now. Every time you really give way, every time you really give death you really sacrifice something, whether it's a habit, you know, something more psychological, or a physical something. You open up a doorway, a portal. And that's why death kind of has that imagery and energy with it. So maybe these extraterrestrials, you know, or past lives that you're connecting with here with these male figures, I mean, they could show up basically as an older male figure. And they have much to share with you. So much wisdom to give. I'm getting a conflict of interest with a specific relationship in your life, and that's hindering your growth and connection even to the other side and what you're trying to do right now. So let it fall. Let it dissipate. Don't try to hold on. Don't try to hold on, especially if there's just a fear of your dream with them, you know, coming true, or that it won't come true with someone else. Breathe through any kind of fear like that that might be surfacing for you. There's no reason to delay. You don't have to delay yourself. Something else they really want to convey to you right now. Your spirit guides, where you're at here with this parallel universe. Bring some of those polarities within yourself into balance. Observe both, let them both be in the same space, and then there will be more free-flowing synchronicities and key and loving and fated relationships popping up around you, showing up for you. Let me just breathe into this just a little bit more. Just want to be able to give y'all all the information that I can. Spend some time looking up. Just kind of a random message, but it's coming through all the same. Spend some time looking up. Something I'm getting here. Yes, like up at the night sky, up at the day sky, you know, all of it. I'm really curious. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and get y'all a clarity card real quick with this Community Association of Worlds parallel card. Because because I just feel like something else wants to be said, conveyed here. One more shuffle. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords coming up. Interesting. The Knight of Swords. Definitely a lot of messages with the veil being where it is and being as thin as it is around you. A lot of stuff, especially with the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Swords here, that are moving fast. You know, expect a lot of fast information to come to you, you know, and a lot of processing that may require a lot of speed, you know. And there is something potentially about, for a lot of you, that air sign energy. Well, like we talked about, looking out for the next phase of the moon, but also, you know, this could be reflected as a person as well. One of those air signs, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So beautiful. Interesting stuff going on for you. Different for sure. So much love to you, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. All right, pile 3. Those of you who selected pile 3 or the Palo Santo, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but welcome. So we're going to start with an oracle message here, and then we'll get into the Galactic Heritage card and tarot cards. Here we go. Ascending the mountain. Keep going forward. Beautiful. Trust that you are on this ascension path, that you are truly indeed one of those who is ascending, and you're one of those who is ascending perhaps faster than some of your other friends and family. Okay? There's just that message of sort of confirmation there for you. And, you know, just simply know and understand too that there are going to be some bumps along the way here with this path of awakening and ascending. There's going to be those challenges and gonna butt heads with people, and there's gonna be some conflict, you know, here and there, but, you know, keep going forward and don't let those types of things, conflict or the challenges or whatever, be your deterrent or be something that breaks you and deters you from your path and your soul growth and your sharing of that in your journey, you know, inspiring others. Believe in yourself and your ascension progress. You are being asked to be determined. Let determination be your guiding force, basically. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, so let's see what else here. Vega. All right, so your galactic family who's trying to connect with you right now is basically Lyra, the Lyra constellation, which Vega is in. So that is beautiful, and this is set in the future, so we'll kind of get to that timeline a bit more here. Spiritual commitment. You know, this is asking you, you know, like this reading is centered on, you know, with your spiritual growth and connecting to your galactic family and past lives. You know, many of you, those of you watching, it's very likely that you've had past lives within Lyra. A lot of us are connected to Lyra. You know, Lyra is the first to seed Earth, and you know, I go in some of my other videos and channelings, I go more into that kind of stuff. But you know, and specifically Vega, you have a past life connection, or the Vegans, Lyrans, are trying to reach you, and they're the ones who are connecting with you now, or perhaps it's something you need to connect to, your potential past life here within Vega, right around Vega. You know, it's the brightest star in the Lyra constellation, and it was said that that was the more of the sort of female type of civilization, or you know, principles and way of living around the feminine archetype. They were a breakaway civilization that went to Vega, or right around Vega. So you know, there's definitely this message of making a commitment, you know, making a commitment to your spiritual path, you know, doing, that's what's going to make all the difference right now with your growth and your knowing and your wisdom growing, is you have to, you know, commit to doing meditation, you know, once every day or every other day, or you have to commit to doing, you know, a certain reading or study. Perhaps you want to get into a study group. Maybe you actually want to, you know, to help facilitate your spiritual commitment and growth, a social group, you know, at, you know, a church or some spiritual group, you know, to get involved with. Like, you know, those are examples. Let's go ahead and pull out your, if I can focus here, pull out your tarot cards. Okay. First card out, the oldest one. Yeah, this is speaking of many of you here being very old souls. And if you have strong connections to Lyra or Vega, which is in Lyra, you know, you're most likely an old soul. You are most likely an old soul who is probably reincarnated a lot, you know, throughout the galaxy, not necessarily just reincarnated on Earth. You have much wisdom within yourself, but there's a level of commitment that must be made to really access it. Ace of Boons. It is kind of speaking of how you can use objects like crystals and whatnot as tools, you know, or plant medicine as tools to access your subconscious, access your higher self, your mind, you know. And those tools like crystals and whatnot, rings, like the frog has here, that help facilitate your connection and psychic power, psychic connection. You know, that it's okay to use those tools for sure. I am really getting, I know this might sound a little, I don't know, extra or weird, a little too like psychic or magical, but I'm gonna say it because it's a message coming through. I'm getting this feeling of you guys really connecting more with the earth, but not just the earth, specifically trees. Something about literally laying your hands or bare feet on tree roots, or laying your bare hands on trees, and trees that you can tell or you feel are the oldest, those old majestic oak trees especially. Oak is definitely the one that is speaking more soundly or strongly right now, but trees in general. So that's interesting. They can sort of help you connect more to the oneness of all things, of the planet. It's like trees, especially with their incredible root system that they have within the earth, they connect like so much, and those roots are like pathways of knowledge, experiences and knowledge and lessons that can sort of be accessed and shared. And I feel like that's almost like you tapping into that, a lot of you. Like, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. But also something really strongly about physical practice, helping keep many of you focused, on task, so to speak. Starlight reversed. There's something hindering or delaying your connection to your cosmic family. And for a lot of you here, that's Vega, that's Lyra. There's something blocking this signal, is what I'm getting with Starlight. And even with the Four of Spells in reverse too. You have these fae folk, in this tarot deck, it's these fairies. Magical, otherworldly, other star systems. I'm getting that the signal is blocked, and in order to sort of unblock it, or go about it a different way, sort of resituate that signal or reposition your antenna or whatever, it's to go more within, and that is also sort of represented by the world and like those trees and the depth, their knowledge. So yeah, there's something about exploring, many of you exploring your own memories to this other magical realm that you had a life in, and accessing that knowledge and even those, supernatural abilities, extrasensory perception and all of that. Something about pulling those memories from those past lives and other star systems forward to help you get reacquainted. But then there is this message here saying start small, with the Ace of Boons and then these reversals. Starting small progression. There's always that danger, the more you grow or are psychologically open to, falling into overwhelm, psychological overwhelm. So, there's just sort of that cautioning here. Something about facing your inner but also outer demons with the Liar here, which is also known as the Devil card in regular tarot decks. Facing your inner and outer demons. Simply facing them. Just facing them, literally standing up to them or speaking back to them, defending yourself or whatever the case is. stating your case, stating your boundaries, your stance. Just simply by doing that shifts the energy and the dynamic where you're more empowered, and that inner demon or outer demon or problem maker, problem, where they're not as empowered, you're more empowered. You see? I'm getting this message too that some of you in past lives really had some mishaps. Really, like some of you, I even sense maybe got a little twisted with your supernatural abilities, or if we want to just say the word magic, your magic. Like some of you, unfortunately, in past lives, it's coming through, got that twisted or fell to the dark side. We could paint it that way, just so. In this lifetime, there's this message here in this lifetime of still healing that. There's still this nurturing and healing and bold, almost confrontation with that inner outer demon that has to happen, in order to really shift that karma and to really heal that karma. And the key or root of it, to get to that point or whatever, and to really, is spiritual commitment. So we have the Weaver of Challenges in reverse here for you too. Queen of Swords. There's this message of understand there is a time and place, not to be ashamed of being detached or ashamed of having to get mean, be cold, or harsh about something. There's a time and a place. But also the Weaver of Challenges being in reverse is asking you maybe to be, I'm getting softer, a little more soft, a little more gentle with your approach to people, your approach to life, your approach to exploring past lives or your galactic star family. Not being so critical and criticizing of yourself, because that's where we often stop ourselves and hold ourselves back, right? Because we get overly critical with ourselves. And when you see this being mirrored back to you in your environment where someone is being overly critical, and you can tell it's just because their intention is to be nasty, like the liar here, you have to allow yourself to be bold, let that fire, let that courage come through and nip that in the butt when you can. And even if you don't do it in the moment, be emboldened to go back to that person or that situation and be like, you know what? I don't like what happened here the other day or whatever. And these are my boundaries, and this is not okay. This is my stance, and allow space for that. Be emboldened. Such an interesting mixture for you guys of past lives and also just these higher vegan Lyran beings coming through for you too. It's just like this vegan Lyran group wants you to know that you are loved and you do not have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel guilty. Okay, so let me take another deep breath or two. I just want to see if any other final messages come through for you guys. A lot of you, there is this time frame in the future. Next time the moon is transiting Taurus, in Taurus, that could be a pivotal peak sort of time and moment for you. So as far as timeline wise goes, that is coming up. And that could apply to making more of a clear connection to your star family or your past life, and exploring, you know, letting that karma bubble up so you can heal in your present life, you know, all that, it applies. Something about the lies that others tell you and the lies that you tell yourself is coming through here. Get clear on those lies that are coming from others, those lies that you are telling yourself. Get clear on where that is coming from, what fear or trauma experience caused that. And that could be really just key with your self-growth. And to be confident with yourself that just knowing you are growing and you are a part of this ascension period, big time. And let yourself tap back into your magic. What you know you're capable of, truly capable of, and learned from past lives. Okay, yeah, I think we're just gonna leave it there, my friends. So I am doing a collection of these, so much love to you, and I will see you soon.